the character of language used. You see, anywhere you come to, and whether you meet people for the first time or they meet you for the first time, the first impression you make about who you are is your appearance. They look at you and they can make intelligent assessment based on how you look and say, oh, this is someone that is trustworthy, this is someone that is attractive, or this is someone we can work with. After assessing the way you appear, the very next thing they look out for is the word that comes out of your mouth. This is the reason why everyone who is growing, especially in this generation, we must pay attention to the use of language. How we talk in the public, how we address people. The last speaker just made mention of, addressing, your staff in the workplace, how you should not assume that they know everything. And this communication power is so important, because if you begin to talk to people in a way that does not appeal to them, you are going to lose your respect in the face of those people. No matter your position whatsoever, anytime your words stop being appealing, anytime your words do not command respect for the people that hear you, they will definitely withdraw whatever honor or respect they may have put upon you. So the way we talk is very, very important. So I remember a certain president of the United States, of course a former president, who used to be very, 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 very bad with language use. In fact, he was once described as being linguistically unadorned. That was the word someone used for that guy, that he was linguistically unadorned. In other words, he does not know how to adorn his language. You see, this is very instructive, because language is like a person. You can choose to clothe what you say and then clothe it in such a way that when people see what you say, they can appreciate it. It can appeal to them. So that he just opens his mouth and you know who I'm talking about. He once addressed an entire continent as shithole. Do you know the meaning of shithole? He will talk derogatory things about women, and largely that definitely, I think, that definitely contributed in the controversies that led to his loss of an election. So as leaders, we must pay attention to the way we talk. It is very, very important. You know, the words we speak to people are creators of emotions, right? Words are engineers of emotions. When you speak, people do not just hear what you say. The words you speak create an emotion, and it is that emotion that they hear. Don't ever think that, oh, because you spoke, someone heard you. No. The words you speak creates an emotion that people now hear. And so, if what you say does not create the right emotion, you are going to be misunderstood, and you will end up losing your respect before people. What about leaders? Even young people. Anytime they discover that, oh, they've started having some kind of influence, then they now develop this culture of looking down on people and then talking down on them as well. It is very, very, very wrong. No matter the level that God has placed you in. In fact, we shouldn't even be talking about leadership on this very large scale. Even in our families, those who are elderly people, they just do not know how to address the younger ones. And anytime you see, if you come out in the public and you hear what someone is saying, you can be able to properly assess the person's level of maturity. Is that true? Yes. Because someone once said that it's better to keep quiet if you come to an event or wherever anything is happening, that it's better to just keep quiet and let people be doubting whether or not you are a fool than to open your mouth and clear every doubt. You see, that's so instructive, right? You see, so the way you address the people that are below you at any level is very, very paramount. And just to round off on this language power, what about appreciation? So many people lose out of the favors of others because they do not learn this culture of properly appreciating people. I learned early in life that anything anyone does for you, no matter how insignificant it appears, you owe that person a good measure of gratitude. You should be able to appreciate people for anything that they have done for you, no matter how little or how much that favor might be. And that reputes you as a person of character. Oftentimes you will even come to people who did some favor for you, and then when you come to show appreciation or to talk to them and show gratitude for what they have done for you, one thing I discovered is that most of the times some people are going to pretend as if they never wanted or needed that appreciation. Have you noticed it before? Yes. They say, thank you. The person will say, don't mention. You don't have to thank me. Don't mention it. So they will often pretend as, why bother coming all the way to come and say thank you? Why bother putting up a phone call to say thank you? Why bother crafting this good text message to say thank you? There is such pretense with people who have done something good for others. But can I tell you the truth? The moment you refuse to show up with that appreciation, the way they will react will now show you how much they needed and expected it. It's true. The way they will now react to you will tell you that, this person really expected it. So let us keep up with that assumption that anyone that does something for you, whether the person approves a grant, no matter how little, the person deserves to be appreciated. Number two thing I'd like to point out concerning character is the character of wholeheartedness. Unfortunately, I may not be able to go in depth in some of these discussions, but I'm going to drop them as a whole, and then probably I believe some of us will have to digest them later. What is the meaning of wholeheartedness? I came across this word some years back when I was writing my book, the last book in 2021. And as I was researching and studying the importance of that word, I came to find out that there are human beings everywhere, but there are very few wholehearted people you can find. Wholeheartedness is the ability to accommodate people. As leaders, you must be able to give room and opportunity for other people around us to grow. Are we following? We must be able to give people opportunity. And because someone is here, I was surprised to even see him. But the truth is, when you lend a helping hand to men, or when you try to, create a room for them to develop just as yourself, you may really be thinking that there is no benefit in this thing that I'm doing. But ultimately, anyone you have ever assisted, ultimately, anyone you have ever lent a hand to will never ever forget you. There is the power of memory. They will always remember how you contributed in making their lives better. Every leader must never live a life of consumption. We must live a life of contribution. We must be able to add that flavor and life and value in the lives of the people that we meet. And why am I talking about this? We must stop approaching life as competition. Really, this is the point where a lot of crises going on in different industries, even right inside the church, because people believe that influence is kind of competitive. You see, when people try to assess their success, they don't do it independent of other people. For example, if I want to know whether I'm successful or not, I might say, this is the wrong and the general opinion of others. I might decide to look at someone, what is Solomon doing better than me? And if I find anything that he's doing that I'm not doing, I will now start looking at myself as though I am not successful. And then there is this spirit of competition that now begins to arise from that place. 2 years ago, I remember when we attended the very first senior school debate competition in this country. The moment we arrived at the hotel and getting ready for the training sessions, I can remember vividly that the first instruction that was given to us, both by the organizers, the coaches, and even the judges of that competition, was never to use the word opposition or opponent to address the other team. I never heard it from anywhere until that time. That word was practically banned in that tournament. When we want to address the other team, we are used to it, my opponent and all of that. They told us to desist from making use of that word, opponent, because immediately it already suggests competition. It already suggests antagonism. It already suggests this kind of heated argument that we want to win. And there was a lot of prize attached to that tournament, but we were banned. Conversely, the word that was suggested for us to use in addressing the other team was fellow talkmates. It was amazing. We are in the same competition trying to win a big prize, and I will not address you as my opponent, and I will call you my fellow talkmate. You know what that means? That we are really not fighting about an award. We are really not fighting about a prize. We are talkmates trying to bring out our individual solutions or individual intelligence to proffer solutions to wide-ranging societal issues that were brought up during that tournament. So we are really not competitors. Who we are talkmates. So if we walk through life with this perception, there won't be so much stress and struggles between us and those who are around us, who we think might be doing better than us. You know why I'm saying this? I owe a lot of appreciation to someone who is here. When I was still in secondary school, he gave me a phone call and said, Stephen, and it was late in the night. I think it was 10 p.m. The very first time I went to a television station, he took me there. The very first time I went to a radio station, he took me there. And I'm talking about Wilfred Okeke. You can just appreciate. Thank you so much. He said, come. The way I look at you, there is something you have to contribute. Come and do this and do that. And you can imagine how grateful I am to him for that exposure that he brought to my life. So, in the same way, we must be able to give people around us an opportunity. Are you leading a team? Are you in charge of any organization whatsoever? Even as students, this kind of competitive spirit, it does not allow for success. I'm telling you the truth. Right there, students devise a technique to be able to surpass others when the result is out. When others are reading and studying to write exam and come out in flying colors, they will be devising all kinds of manipulative strategies. And instead of themselves reading too, what they will be thinking is, this guy took first last day. How am I going to steal his notes? So that he will lose 20 marks. And when he loses 20 marks, I can be able to now. It is a demonic way of succeeding. I'm telling you, and we must be able to banish it from our own lives. There is room for everyone, no matter where you are, to find your own space in the door of greatness. Everyone has an opportunity there. And this even boils down to the situation we are going through in this country. If I meet any great leader in Nigeria, I'm going to tell the person that the reason this country is like this is because we have violated a very important principle in Scripture. The Bible says, neither do men light up a candle and put it under the bushel. Very, very powerful. And we are never doing it in this country. We have hidden all our candles under the bushel, and it's like there is no light in Nigeria. The best amongst us are never given opportunity. Look at the crop of leaders being released year after year. People who are tired, retired, they have practically nothing to contribute to the system. And every cycle they are filed, and they are given places in positions that matter. And you know what they are doing? They are producing and reproducing almost the exact copies of failures we have been having for 40 years. No change, no transformation. Neither do men light up a candle. In case there is any candle around you, no matter what the person is, try and bring that candle up so that it can shine. Are we together? Going forward, time will not permit me to address so many of these things. I want to talk about the issue of integrity. Integrity is very important. How much time do I have left, sir? Maybe I need to know so I can begin to round off. All right. The issue of integrity. What is integrity? I wrote here, for those who may be interested in writing, integrity is commitment that aligns with your conviction. Commitment in alignment with your conviction. So it is not just enough to have a conviction or to believe in something. There must be an action that you put forward in confirmation of that conviction that you have. And many of us pride in the convictions that we have, but we really do not commit to keeping those convictions. That is integrity. We must be able to keep to our convictions. What are your convictions as an emerging leader? Are there things you believe? Now, this is very foundational because if you start, walking through life and there are no certain belief system you'll be able to instill inside of you, you are going to be carried away by all manner of distractions, and anybody who opens any door for you, you will gladly walk into it because you don't have limits. So your integrity is what will create a limit around your life and will inform you on certain extents that you must not exceed as a person. People are quick to ask the question, what must I do to make money? What must I do to be famous? What must I do to be influential? And when I listen to those questions, it makes me laugh because those people do not even care to ask the question, what must I not do for money? What must I not do for fame? What must I not do for whatever thing at all, for success? So, this is a question on integrity. This is a question on integrity. A certain man went to Holland. He's a Nigerian, and when he got to Holland, if you are in this country, you are going to think that the whole world is like Nigeria. You really do not know how things work elsewhere. That's the truth. And because you've not had that experience externally, you are going to think that, and this is why they are arresting Nigerians all over the world. Because they will land in a country and they will reproduce that same habit. They think that the way it is here is the way it is everywhere else. But that's not true. There are certain countries that have been able to instill a certain measure of discipline in the spirit of all their citizens. They have systems that work without supervision. And it's like that in different countries. Some countries have won the war on corruption. I'm telling you the truth. Some countries have won the war on bribery. There are countries you will go to, you will never see a policeman stop you and ask you for money. It does not exist in those climes. If a child is born in that place and you come from somewhere like this, it will be impossible for that person to understand what you are talking about because it is not what they are exposed to in that culture. And so this man traveled to Holland and came with a friend, his guest, and they went to buy milk at the dairy. When they arrived there were no workers in that place. It was just a factory where they came, and then the man came with his gallon and opened the tap and collected milk to a point, and then turned off the tap again. There was a little bowl there where full of money because people still come to buy and make payments. He put his own money in that place, collected change from the box full of money, carried the gallon of milk, and told his friend, "Let us go." Thank you very much. And told his friend, "Let us go." The guy turned and looked at him and said, "What is the meaning of this? Is this how things work here?" He said, "Yes." He said, "If it was in my country, if it was in my country, you now set up a business and there is no employee, and people come, buy, pay themselves and collect change. You see, corruption is in the blood of Nigerians. So when he saw that, the man said he now knew why, we are running a complicated system in this country that are not important. Some systems are not necessary. There are certain places money is entering that money is not supposed to be entering because things are not working. And so if you come to Nigeria, of course, that thing is unthinkable. Just forget about it. Don't even imagine it. It won't happen anywhere. So the owner of the dairy, because someone is going to come there and collect everything and even the money other people brought, the owner of the dairy is going to employ a sales girl. Is that true?
Sure.
And the sales girl is going to be the one selling the milk to people. You see, the corruption started from the person who came to buy. So the sales girl will sell to people. And what makes you think the sales girl will not be corrupt? She's going to be corrupt. She's going to add water to that milk. Yes, so that it is not just milk, it will be a mixture of milk and water. And you will now come and pay in excess for a lower quality because of our proclivity for corruption. You will pay in excess for lower quality and you carry the thing and go home. And the government too, they will also have a way of taking their own share because the sales girl will make payments of tax to the government. So all of these complications, money entering where it's not supposed to enter. At the end of the day, let me tell you the truth. High cost of living is not the reason why we are here in this country in this manner. There is high cost of living everywhere. You know what we are doing in Nigeria? We are all paying for our sins in this country. That's what we are doing. We are paying for our sins in this country. And thank you, even the sins of our forefathers, we are paying for it here. And while you laugh, I'm making a point that is extremely important. So, the change must begin from all of us who are emerging leaders. We must begin to plant it as a flag on top of our psyche that we can survive in business and establish institutions and run it properly without all kinds of additional garbages that put things down for us as a people. Very, very important. What is your moral conviction? What must you not do because of money? And as I round up, there are two kinds of character that we can discuss. There are overt characters and covert characters. Some of these things I have already discussed are part of the umbrella of the overt character, the ones that people see, noticeable, very clear in the eyes of others. And then, what about the covert characters? If you've not been listening, you must pay very rapt attention now. There is something business people would call the heart of the house. And the heart of the house refers to the activities that go on behind the curtain of every industry. When you come to a bakery, for instance, what you see is the display of all manner of bread and pastries and things that they have already produced. You buy from there and you go home. If you go to a place like Ruban, for instance, the only boundaries that you have to make purchases is within that place where goods are displayed and then you can buy and pay and go. You never get to discover what happens behind the curtain. Is that true? You are never given an entrance into the place where real production takes place because that place is what companies and business owners call the heart of the house. Every man must have the heart of the house, the behind the scenes of their lives. And that is where your outward excellence is actually powered by your private life. Are you getting what I'm saying? Every outward excellence is powered by your private life. And if you don't have a strong private life, if you don't have a strong private life, routines that are crafted upon solid principles, disciplines, as an emerging leader, you are going to find it very difficult to display that excellence on the outside. Because every man must have a heart of the house where production happens. When we all wake up in the morning, people do all manner of things. Some people come and then they assert the wonders and the values people are creating, and they attach several kinds of unnecessary meaning and say, oh, this one is lucky, oh, this one has uncle, this one is blessed, is gifted. It's true. The reason people will get attracted to you is because I got an invite, they say, come and speak at the leadership Rebirth conference. Some of us, do not be deceived by that invitation. The day you lose that gift, nobody is going to invite you anywhere. People are not going to call you. They won't be interested in you at all. And if you watch, there is this kind of trend going. We see people rise, and while we are still trying to celebrate their uprising, and we have another giant in this or that industry, before you know it, there is this quick disappearance that happens almost at the same time. Their comforts, they shine within a very short moment, they disappear, and they are nowhere to be found any longer. Why are people rising and that rising is not being sustained? Why are people starting businesses and it won't last for a long time before it crashes? Why is it that when someone raises his head, all of a sudden the person now disappears? It's because anytime you don't build a foundation, there is no structure that can stand upon it. Absolutely no structure. People want to create influence without building foundation of character, and that is the danger. The danger of building influence without building character is that you appear and you disappear at the same time.